doesn't go to anything, does it? We got it.
Catching, you're doing everything.
Oh boy.
Welcome to Reignite Thursday, and to those joining us online, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. As you can see, we're a fun group here. We love each other, we're family, and we welcome you to be a part of it. We want to go over a few announcements before we go into tonight's teaching. We want to remind all men that Saturday is men's breakfast. It's a free, delicious breakfast. They meet in room A102, and it starts Saturday at 8 o'clock. Now, if you're able to come a little bit earlier, I know that they would appreciate the help to try to set up and get ready for when the men all come in, because, you know, when those guys come in, they're hungry. So 8 o'clock Saturday morning. Also on Saturday, we have our hymn sing at the home of Bonnie Mullen. Now, if anybody does not have the address, please see me after the service, and I'll make sure that you get that. But there is a hymn sing Saturday hosted by Bonnie Mullen, and it starts at 2 o'clock. So if you'd like to participate in that, you know it's 1 full hour of singing the old hymns of the church. So everybody is invited to participate in that. Pastor continues with the sermon series, Alive, Living the Resurrection Life. So this will continue through the end of April. Board members, there is a board meeting Monday at 6:30 in room A. Actually, it's in room C4. I think this says A102, but if I'm not mistaken, the board will be meeting in C4. Quarterama. Now, a lot of people might think that this is just for the women. It is not. Everybody is invited. It's a fun day of, it's a fundraiser for the, it is a fundraiser for the ladies ministry, but everybody is invited. And it's a great time of shopping, of fun, of laughter, of winning prizes. So make sure to bring your quarters. Remember, it's called Quarterama because all of the items there, nothing is more than 4 items, or excuse me, 4 quarters, and you just bid on these different items. Now, you might think that for 4 quarters, they're just little Dollar Tree prizes, but they are not. I have a big pot that I got for 4 quarters. Anyways. If you want more information about the Quarterama, I'm sure there's a lot of people here. Joanne has tickets available. She has flyers. And there is an entrance fee of $10, and then there is a lunch that you can purchase or you do not have to purchase, and that's $12. But be informed. Find out what the Quarterama is, and come out and participate, support the women's ministry, and have a morning of fun. It usually starts at 10 o'clock, and it goes till about 1 or 2 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. So it's, I'm not sure if I told you what day it was, April the 25th, and it starts at 10 o'clock. So you have plenty of time, if you don't know what it is, to find out more information. Now, speaking of fundraisers, the men they are also having a fundraiser, and it is their annual chili cook-off. So if you would like to participate by bringing a pot of chili, and all of the different pots of chili are judged. We have judges, and a winner is announced and awarded a prize, and then everybody from the congregation can partake in all of these wonderful, delicious pots of chili. And so we'll have a chili luncheon, and as I mentioned, it is a fundraiser for the men's ministry, and so the cost for adults is $10, children under 12, that would be $5, and the meal includes a bowl of chili, cornbread, drink, and dessert. So for $10, guys, come on, you just can't do better than that. Plus, as I mentioned, it's a fundraiser, it's a lot of fun, and come on out. If you'd like to participate by bringing a pot of chili, on Sunday there will be a sign-up sheet at the information desk at the Welcome Center, and you can sign up. So there are some people that have signed up already, but you can never have too much. So please, if you would like to participate, excuse me, I know there's a lot of good cooks out there, so we invite you to participate in this. There is a zone rally on May the 3rd, starting at 6 o'clock, and that will be hosted this year at the Redlands Church. There is a free dinner that will be served, and so everybody is invited to go out to the Redlands Church, and let's, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought for a second there. Let's represent Arlington well by having a good show of people. And maybe some of you would like to carpool together. I think that's a great idea. I know I've been talking to a couple of people. Are you going? Are you going? If you go, I'll go. So make sure that you find somebody to go with. Mother's Day, May 10th. I was just telling my kids because in Mexico, Mother's Day is always May 10th. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It's May 10th. And so usually I get to celebrate Mother's Day 2 times, because on May 10th and then whatever day is celebrated here. But this year, May 10th falls on the Sunday. So what can I tell you? So May 10th, you'll want to make sure to invite your moms or that special lady in your life, somebody that you would like to honor, and invite them and just bring them, let them. This is a great opportunity for you to bring a guest so that they could be introduced to this great family that we have here that we call Arlington. And there will be a special gift for all of the moms present. So invite a mom. 5th Sunday night service, this coming May 31st, is our next 5th Sunday night service. And what it is there are 4 Sundays throughout the year, or 4 months that have a 5th Sunday. So on those 5th Sundays, we are going to have a Sunday night service. So Sunday, May the 31st at 5:30, we will be celebrating our 5th Sunday night service, and with a special guest speaker, Reverend Curtis. Actually, his name is Tony Curtis, but when I say Tony Curtis, I can't help but think of the actor, Tony Curtis. So I'm thinking, I'm going to be there. Anyways, Reverend Curtis will be here, and we understand from our own pastor that he has a wonderful, amazing testimony that will be shared, and I'm anxious to hear that. And he is the current senior pastor from the Hemet Church of the Nazarene. So he went from acting to, no, I'm just kidding. Believe it or not, VBS is already being planned. So that's good. We have to get a good head start, a jump start for Vacation Bible School. And this year, the theme is Amazing Journey. And it will take place June the 22nd through the 26th. The time to be announced, the starting times. And this Vacation Bible School is for all children, kindergarten through 6th grade. And there is a lot of work to be done, a lot of more planning to be done. And if you think that you would be able to help, if you are willing to help, there is a job for everybody. So if you are interested, please see Pastor Ginger, and I'm sure she will have a job for you. So again, Vacation Bible School, June the 22nd through the 26th. Youth camp. Can you believe it? We're already talking about summer camps. I'm still trying to put away my Christmas decorations. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty good about putting them away right away. Youth camp this year is based on, for the youth camp, based on John 20 through the 21st, or John 20, 21. And their theme is Sent, S-E-N-T, Sent. And registration is open now through the June 30th, and the cost is $365 per camper. Now, that's quite a bit. So if you are interested in being able to sponsor a child or one of our teens, or partially sponsor, then please mark your donations youth camp, as well as kids camp. Following the Lord into the Unknown. Kids Camp will take place July the 17th through the 19th, and that is 3rd grade through 5th grade. And the cost is $225 per student, and it'll be held in Idlewild Pines Camp. And again, if you would like to sponsor a child or partially sponsor, you can do so. And again, please mark your donations, Kids Camp. And Sunday, you will receive a bulletin. There really are a lot more announcements. We don't want to take all the time with the announcements because we want to get to tonight's teaching. And tonight we are privileged and honored to receive the teaching from Pastor Loretta. So I invite Pastor to come forward. Our pastor is, last week we prayed that we as a church would allow our pastors to be parents. Now, they are our pastors, but we need to remember that they are also parents. And Sarai has a musical presentation at her school. You know, that little girl, I don't know how she could get enough wind in her, but I think she's playing the trumpet or saxophone. I think it's the trumpet, that little skinny little girl. And they're having a presentation at their school, so our pastors were here. They just walked out so that they could get to Sarai in time. So we invite Pastor Loretta to come forward. Thank you again, each and every one of you, for being here. And let's keep Pastor Loretta in prayer as she delivers the word for tonight. God bless you.
That's for later. Well, I want to start with just a couple housekeeping issues. The first couple slides, is that you, Ross, on the slides? Or a couple of pictures of Lorelei. Some of you were here last week, and go ahead and flip to the next slide. This is Lorelei on the way to her procedure that I talked to you about, and then the next slide is her rewards afterward, and then this third slide, which is the last one. Not yet. Back up, not Pongo yet. If you look at her little face, it shows you that she's exhausted. She thought that they were trying to kill her. The procedure was unsuccessful, did not put her out all the way. Somehow she woke up with a catheter, which was killing her, and she pulled it out. And so the whole thing, Megan was not very happy. This is the second time that they've attempted to do this little test to make sure that everything's flowing the right way. And but you know, as a parent, you get kind of upset when they're traumatizing your child. She's only 5. And I think Megan's tired of going to Target and rewarding her afterwards because every time, okay, as soon as it's over, we'll go get you something, you know. But it took, I guess they had six nurses trying to hold her down just to try to take these final 2 pictures. But poor thing, she just wasn't having it. They gave her some gas, and then they gave her something that they licked. She licked it, and supposedly was going to knock her out. Well, they don't know my Lorelei. So that's that. We don't have a new date for the new procedure yet. So I'll let you know when. Hopefully it's not strike 3. Okay. Before we see my Pongo, the second thing I want to clear up is that I want to start the evening thanking everyone who responded to my plea for financial assistance. Raise your hand if you saw an email from me on your, yes, Lisa, I heard you got one. Rebecca called me and says, did you email me? I go, no. Well, it turned out some scammers out there. And so Rebecca and I decided we were going to play along. We wanted to know how much money they were going to ask for. And they wanted an Amazon card for my niece who's stage 4 cancer. My sister died of cancer, so don't mess with cancer with me, I wanted to intervene right there. And Rebecca's going, in her head, she's going, Loretta doesn't have any nieces. So anyway, I'm sorry for the trouble. I think there's 5 or 6 people, even from a girl from school that said, Loretta, are you okay? And I go, yeah. I did pay my taxes this week, so I'm not as okay as I usually am, but I wasn't needing any major assistance at that point. So, well, I got one more thing to clear up, and that is that, Pastor always acts like I'm some Greek scholar. I am not a Greek scholar. I took one class at Nazarene Theological Seminary. It was my first semester, and I didn't get an A, and I did get a B+, but it was hard, and I didn't do near as well. The only one probably that knows more than me is, the next slide, is Pongo, because Pongo ate my Greek New Testament. My $50 brand new Greek, not that I could read hardly any of it all, but he ate half of it. And I'm going, it was so pretty. I couldn't read much of it, but I came home and he had eaten it. So if anybody knows more Greek than I do, it's probably Pongo from eating my New Testament. But I do have a new word to teach you today. And I believe the next slide, I should just look here because I have them right here. I'm not used to having my computer. Here's your word of the day. Yeah, you have to pronounce it right. Anastasis. Anastasis means resurrection. I wanted to know, here we've been talking about resurrection, and I wanted to know what the word for resurrection was. It really doesn't sound like any other word that I know, but now you know. Anastasis means resurrection. And I need you to know that it actually, let's look at the next slide. I think I wrote. This Greek word appears over 40 times in the New Testament to describe the resurrection of Jesus. And in the beginning of the early church, it was a key preaching point by Paul for new believers. Some in Corinth were saying that there was no resurrection of the body, and Paul spoke to those believers there about this. Remember, the Sadducees didn't even believe there was a resurrection. The Pharisees did, but not the Sadducees. So it was very important. And I believe the next slide kind of talks a little bit about, let's read 1 Corinthians 15, 12 to 14. And these are the words of Paul. But if it is preached that Christ has been raised from the dead, how can some of you say that there is no resurrection of the dead? Then not even Christ has been raised. Our preaching is useless, and so is your faith. And then the next slide, and more than that, we are then found to be false witnesses about God. For we have testified about God. For we have testified about God that he raised Christ from the dead, but he did not raise him if in fact the dead are not raised. For if the dead are not raised, then Christ has not been raised either. And if Christ has not been raised, your faith is futile, and you are still in your sins. You see, the resurrection on the next slide, Ross, is the heart of the Christian faith. I'm sure you've heard that before. And the word anastasis is a call to stand up and to rise again. It's not just something that happened in the past, but it begins even today, even now. And the question is, do people see signs of new life daily in the words that we speak and how we act? Anastasis kills the power of sin and provides for new beginnings for all of us. And I don't know if you ever need a new beginning, whether everything is just always wonderful every day and you feel totally just revved up. But there's been some days lately that I needed to remember the meaning of anastasis. Sometimes we arrive, the next slide, on Easter morning, especially musicians. We're busy. And sometimes we forget. We sing and we play the songs, and anastasis means to stand up today, not just on Easter morning. We are no longer dead. Christ's resurrection affects us today, not just on Easter morning. And today is a new day for all of us. But sometimes I kick myself because, we all show up on Easter and we wear, I don't know if that, no, I already wrote about that. I mean, we sing and we play, we wear our beautiful dresses, but whether we really believe in the resurrection is a big question. And can you tell that we believe by our actions that day and today? Do we behave like we're standing up and rising up? So that's my little lesson here on resurrection and my Greek word. And you see the next slide here. I want to shift to, I got a wonderful gift for my birthday. My birthday was March 8th, and I was 67. I'm not ashamed to say that. But my daughter showed up with her friend, and all the way from San Diego, and they brought me 2 raised garden beds that they built themselves, rented a trailer, hauled them to Riverside from San Diego. And, I've always wanted a couple. I always wanted to grow some of my own food. I'm trying to think where I put this next verse. The next slide, Ross. You see, God's creation began with the creation of man and woman. And then in chapter 1, verse 29, God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it, and they will be yours for food. So the first man and woman, they were vegetarian. I'm not saying anybody has to be, but it obviously was a good diet that was provided for us. So as I retired, I thought it would be so cool to be able to grow some food just in all my free time. And so Rachel, she's just a good daughter. And I think she must have inherited a little bit of know-how from her father. Who's not afraid to build things. And but I kind of landed there for this. Pastor called me just yesterday. I go, okay, what am I going to talk about? And I've been really in the garden a lot since my birthday. And beginning gardeners, as you see the slide, they have much to learn. And when plants are not producing fruit, Google says that you're supposed to prune the excess leaves, stealing valuable nutrients. This may be necessary to do, but as a new gardener that just watched the new leaves come out, you don't want to cut the baby new leaves. Trimming one's new plants of excess leaf is a difficult step. And the next slide, Ross. John 15, 1 and 2 is one we are familiar with. Jesus said, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit. And while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. You see, pruning produces fruitfulness. And I have this plant. I will learn. The next slide is a picture of my zucchini plant. And zucchini plants obviously gets really big, and I probably shouldn't have put it in that little garden bed. I think I have 3 or 4 zucchinis that are starting on it. I didn't get you a good picture, but there's all sorts of leaves coming out, and I need to cut all those off because the nutrients are going to grow leaves instead of to the fruit. So check with me next week to see if I actually went through with it. A lot of the leaves sit on the ground, and they pick up fungus and germs and more bugs. So if you clear the leaves that are on the bottom, you have a healthier plant. It makes me wonder what we need to clean out of the bottom of our lives that make us healthier and disease resistant. That would be a question for each person, I think. Oh, I love this next one. As soon as I started Googling about planting, I learned about plant companion plants. You see, every plant that you want to plant, like everybody wants tomatoes. Well, tomatoes have companion plants that you plant next to them so that it repels, like if you put basil, it repels the white flies and the aphids and yeah, I can't see it from there. I guess I have it right here. How many of you have seen one of those ugly tomato worms? I know it. I was like, where do they come from? You've never ever seen one in your yard until you plant a tomato plant. And there is that ugly thing that comes out and starts, it just all of a sudden, your leaves are gone. And they also attract pollinators, like bees and things that do magic inside of the flowers. And they attract beneficial insects. For example, I have marigolds planted around all my plants now because that's something that draws, there they are. The marigolds draws pollinators and they stink too, so they repel bad things. I'm thinking that the next picture is one of my favorite pictures. Well, it's a slide. We'll go ahead to the next slide, Ross. So who are your companion people? Who repels your bad bugs away and habits? And who do you have near you that emit a sweet fragrance? I didn't say that stink. That emit a sweet fragrance to enhance your growth. And I think there's probably many people, but this next picture is one of my favorites. This was my last day here at Arlington, and before I went to Cornerstone. Probably one of the saddest days of my life because it was hard leaving when I left. But there's other types of people too. Do you have an accountability partner that keeps you in line, that asks you, or do you have someone that ladies that you just know that's a prayer warrior? That if you ask, bless Jack Russell's heart, You know what? Jack Russell prayed for me and my kids every day. Knew my kids by name. And I knew that Jack did it. Who are your companion people that help keep the bugs away? Do you have any? Do you need more? Maybe that's something that you need to think about. My next picture is one of my best friends who's gone now. That's a picture of my sister Laura. And for those of you that don't know, Laura died 3 years ago in February. But, you know, she didn't attend church very much, but, you know, she always had a blue fingernail. And when she was going through a cancer treatment, and it just reminds me to look up. To look up. And I miss her. I miss her companionship. And, all right. The next picture is just a sharing. That's a picture of a very baby little cucumber flower that's in my garden. And I know that it's not planted correctly, that it's going to go up and down, and it should be but for now, it's happy, and that's all I have to say. I have a lot to learn. Oh, look at the next slide. Be on alert for weeds and pests. You know, something about a garden, you go out and you bend down and you look under some leaves, and then all of a sudden, it hit me. The entire floor of my garden beds was covered with white bugs. White bugs. How could that happen? I mean, there was millions of them in both beds. I said, this may be the end. I don't like bugs. But I found out by Googling that these are not hurting my plants, that probably I overwatered, and these are just bugs that are in my, that's breaking down the dirt and the stuff that's in my soil. I didn't care. They said, use a little bit of soapy water. So I went, got my spray bottle, and took care of it, and it did work. But you know what? You've got to be on alert every day. Is anybody eating anything that I need to know about? And in the same way, 1 Thessalonians 5, 6 through 8. So let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be alert and self-controlled. For those who sleep, sleep at night. And those who get drunk at night. Let's keep going. But since we belong to the day and not the night, let us be self-controlled and putting on faith and love as a breastplate and the hope of salvation as a helmet. One more, I think, Ross. I guess not. Well, you know, the garden theme in the Bible begins in Genesis. I read, we know that, with Adam and Eve in the garden, right? And it symbolizes our relationship with God. We hear that it's paradise, and finally, it symbolizes restoration. And we all know the old hymn, In the Garden. It's a lot of our favorites. Let's look at the next slide for the words. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. The garden is a place where we can experience God's presence, even in my little 2 raised beds, because it's a quiet time. It's, how often during the day are we that quiet, where we're looking under leaves? But something else that you need to know is that we also read about the garden in chapters 21 and 22 of Revelation. Started in Genesis, we end in Revelation. And these chapters represent the restored and perfected Garden of Eden, known as New Jerusalem, and symbolizes the final restoration of God's presence with humanity. Let me read you just about 5 verses from that chapter 22. Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life, as clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb down the middle of a great street of the city. On each side of the river stood the tree of life, bearing 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. No longer will there be any curse. Remember what happened to Adam after Adam and Eve sinned. He was cursed and had to leave the garden, remember? The throne of God and of the Lamb will be in the city, and his servants will serve him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. There will be no more night. They will not need the light or the light of the sun, for the Lord God will give them light, and they will reign forever and ever. Would you bow your heads with me? Heavenly Father, we thank you for tonight, and we thank you for a simple message about gardens and how your presence is with us. We thank you for each person sitting here. We thank you for the effort that they made to come out, to be faithful. And as we close the service tonight, we just ask that you would go with those that has to go and give them safety and provision as they make their way home. In your name I pray. Amen. So this is the end of our service for those who are online. And we thank everyone for being with us tonight. And we'll just have we'll share as long as you want to share. All right.